I thought it would be a good time to show you how I changed ACF on the Frozen Sonic Mega AKS, since the last print job left me with a nice pinhole which resulted in this print failure. ACF has really good non-stick properties which allows for faster printing, but there's a catch. Some say there's a slight loss in sharpness, but this isn't noticeable for the large prints I design. The second problem is durability. It seems to be somewhat soft, which makes it really easy to damage. But more on that later. First things first, we need to get everything cleaned up, and this is just so you don't get resin everywhere while you're taking everything apart. You're going to need a 2.5mm and a 3mm hex wrench to remove these screws. You should probably note that the 4 corner screws are different. Taking out all these screws does take quite a bit of time, but I would not recommend using power tools as you run the risk of stripping them. Again, you should note where these screws go. The bottom side is the much longer screw that you see here, and the shorter one goes on the reverse side of this ring. Once you get everything apart, it would be a good time to just clean everything up and get all the excess resin off these rings. As you can see, it is frosted, which is where the loss in sharpness comes from. Okay, back to durability. One complaint that I see online is how difficult it is to remove the ACF from the protective film it ships with. Well, without damaging it. This is a very valid complaint because I destroyed mine the first time I needed to replace my ACF, which is a $30 mistake. So here's the trick. I don't remember where I saw this tip, otherwise I would shout them out, but double-sided tape is the way to go. The tape I'm using is the same tape I use for my CNC machine, and I'll link it in the description. You can cut one long strip or 3 pieces to save you some tape, but place it on the side with the warning sticker and close to the edge. You can now stick this to the table and evenly peel back the ACF from the protective film. During this process, make sure you keep note of the orientation. The more glossy side is the side that makes contact with the resin. The next tip, as recommended by Phrozen, is to place the build plate on top. This stops the ACF from becoming too tight when installing the screws. Where the screws go, use a sharp tool to make a small hole in the ACF as you go. This helps the screw puncture the ACF as you tighten. You should also install the screws in a diagonal pattern similar to changing a tire. Again, make sure that the glossy side is on the side that makes contact with the resin, and start with the four corners, and again in a diagonal pattern. As you can see, the ACF is slightly oversized, so you'll have to trim it with an X-Acto knife. I'll have this kit linked in the description. Be really careful during this process, as you're obviously holding a really sharp knife that could easily damage the ACF. Okay, let's talk about things you can do to prevent premature ACF failure. Number one would be to make sure your print settings is dialed and not too fast. Number two would be to dump your resin back into a bottle after every print and filter it to be sure there isn't any cured resin or foreign objects floating around. Yes, you can use the vac cleaning feature, but this will not capture anything that has not settled to the bottom, and it also does not capture anything that may be close to the edge of the vat. I know it sounds like a hassle, but remember that this ACF is $30 a piece. 3 would be to make sure you use a rubber spatula when mixing the resin in the vat. Phrozen provided one in the kit I purchased. Yes, ACF is delicate, but as of right now, I think it's worth it to get faster print times. We will see as time goes on. If this video was informative to you, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I'm out.